explore Lake Holiday today. So that we are just outside of Winchester. That is 522 coming up north through Winchester and the guard gate. So this is a gated community. So you're coming in right here. You do have a fast lane if you are an owner, so that is nice. Otherwise, you stop at the guard gate and you're should be in the list as a guest for whoever you are visiting. If you don't have anyone here, you do need to be with a real estate agent. You cannot just go in here and drive around by yourself. So let's take a look. So we have 3 beaches, which are the main draws, of course, other than the lake. But let's look at the lake real quick. So this end down here, we call this the high speed end. So this is where you're going to see people in their boats, just, going fast, enjoying themselves, pulling skiers or tubers, stuff like that. This is the widest portion of the lake, so that is why that is the high speed area. There are rules and there is a boating test that you need to take and pass in order to register your boat and be able to do this so that we keep everyone safe. So this is the end where the dam is, and you can see that here. Okay. And then let's go over here to the biggest beach. This is beach 1. This is where the clubhouse is. You have basketball, pickleball, tennis courts. You have beach volleyball. There's a little playground there that you can't see. On the back side here is where the marina is. So everything's kind of located conveniently here. Okay, and then directly across from it is beach 3. We always call this the dog beach because no one really used to drive to it. You would only go over there on your boat. So you would take your dog over there to chill for a little bit while you're enjoying the lake. Now it is a little more active. You can see they do have a dock there, which makes it really nice to pull up now. But that is where our fireworks are set off from each year. So you can gather in the water out here at beach 1 and all the way down the dam for really good viewing. And then over here is beach 2. This is the smallest beach. This is my favorite. This is where all the teens like to hang because it's a steeper drop off with a dock there so they can, chill, be jumping around and stuff. You do have a little playground there with some swings and such. This is also where the camping spots are, kind of here on this corner. Okay, which is another amenity just for people who own here. All of these roads here, the roads are in, so these are great trails. People own these lots, okay, but you can't build on them. You can have a dock on them though, so you can see one here if it's waterfront. So these are what we call the membership lots. So membership lots are real land, normal size lots, most about 1/4 of an acre, and it gives you access. You basically own property in Lake Holiday, so you get to use all of the amenities. They're fairly cheap, usually less than $10,000 unless they're waterfront, and then they can be up to 50, 60 or more. But they are owned and people use them. It's usually locals who live nearby, so they can come and fish. They can enjoy all of the activities. It's a really, really interesting option that you usually don't see anywhere, so I like to explain those to people. So they will never be able to be built on. You need to keep that in mind. The potential of that being changed is basically 0, so never count on that. I know a lot of people in the past did buy some and they were promised they would be able to be developed, but that is not currently accurate. So this is what we call the south side, so surrounding beach 2 there. It's really nice and quiet. When I first moved to Lake Holiday, there were only 3 homes in that area, so you can see now how many there are. It's a really, really nice little section of Lake Holiday. So that is kind of the surrounding borders. So it's a pretty big area. The lake is 240 acres, so you can see there's lots of fingers to explore. When I'm showing people touring, If you are in the high speed area and you see 3 to 5 boats, like that's a busy day, right? But there's always more people on the lake. They're just back in all of these nooks where you can't see them, fishing, chilling, just hanging out. We're not open to the public, so that makes it a really, really nice spot to own a home, whether it is a second home or a first home or a home you plan to retire in the future. We have a lot of that. But that is the general layout of Lake Holiday. So over here, there's lots of trails now throughout the old golf course, and then in the middle section, Country Club Park here is where our disc golf course starts, as well as a ton of trails and other amenities here. There's like horseshoe pits. It's hard to see them, but they are adding things like the dog park on this side. So there's a plan for adding more amenities through the year. So if you're thinking about Lake Holiday and want to explore, you can view everything at lakeholidaypropertiesva.com. My website, if you just search Lake Holiday, you'll find me. And I'd be happy to give you a tour and answer any questions. It's still my favorite lake in Virginia, so I just wanted to give you the layout there.